Talking about the summer that was, how did you find your 2022 season on the track?
Yeah, look, I was, to be honest, I was happy to make it out there on the track. I didn't expect to run in track season at all with what happened, but I was delighted. Like, look, I only ran like 2 races or so, but they were 2 big races. They're the national seniors and the national under 23s. So no, look, like that was the plan, to make it back for track, regardless of how well I do or whatever. And it was just the plan to build for cross country and build for the next season.
You had heart surgery earlier this year. Can you talk a little bit about the recovery from that?
Yeah, so like I would have trained through heart rate training and through lactic testing and all that kind of stuff, and just without that I would have never discovered what happened. So it was just basically it's called SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. So it's just, I had a condition where my heart rate would go absolutely through the roof, and my whole body would fill up with lactic acid, and I wouldn't be able to move. So then I got 1 surgery in August. I done a few things wrong, like recovery wise, and then I had the 2nd surgery in February, and look, I decided to do everything right when recovering this time. Like, I stopped drinking caffeine, I took the proper recovery. I didn't come back too quick. I done the right things when coming back, for example aqua jogging, taking it slow. I didn't go shoot up the mileage. And that's the reason I'm back here now. That's the reason I'm back where I'm at, and probably in the best shape of my life so far.
Yeah, so the first surgery was unsuccessful, is that right?
Yeah, it was unsuccessful because I suppose I was on like anticoagulants and like just doing a few mistakes, like I suppose, as I said, hitting back the miles too quick. Like, I was back up at 60 miles straight away, nearly, after 3 or 4 weeks. Then I thought the episodes were gone when the heart rate would go through the roof, but just about a month and a half later, when I'm training with the boys in DCU, obviously trying to catch them and all that, the heart problems started coming back. So in and out of running, not really racing or whatever, and then finally I had the opportunity to get a 2nd surgery because I caught an episode on my watch that I was able to send to my cardiologist. So I knew now, coming into the 2nd surgery, that this is my last chance basically to save my career, really.
Something that you love so much, like the prospect that it could be taken away from you.
Yeah, like definitely. Like, I suppose all I thought about was the sport aspect, but like my family and friends and all them, they were concerned about my actual life. Like, so I suppose that's probably what kept me positive. I was only thinking about the sport aspect. I wasn't that scared in terms of like my life, but when looking back on it, I am grateful for how successful it was in the end, and that I'm able to compete.
And where did you have your surgery?
I had it in the Mater Private, so thank you to people in Mater Private.
Yeah, getting you back in good shape. The feeling of coming back then, like, you must have been delighted when the 2nd surgery was successful and now you're back.
Yeah,
better than you've ever been before.
Definitely, yeah. Like, I was back on the track, like I'm standing beside on the start line beside some serious athletes, like knowing that I'm up there now and I'm with them and being able to compete again. It's just one of the best feelings. Like, ever since coming back from the surgery, I have never missed a day of training, and I've been fully motivated nearly every day, and that's what got me through, like, consistency and doing things right.
Yeah, when you moved to DC, you changed coach from Rob Denby to Tullamore to Joe Ryan. What's the transition been like?
Yeah, so I suppose the main changeover was the group environment. So with Robert, I can't thank him highly enough. He's an excellent coach, and that was more so like lactic testing, VO2 max, heart rate, all that, but I was all training individually, so on my own. Whereas now with Joe, I lacked that kind of group aspect. So I was on my own every day, the winter days on my own in the dark. So now I'm with a group, and that has definitely pushed me on further. So you have some serious athletes here in DCU, and when you're with like-minded people, you become better as an athlete. Why
you chose DCU? Like, what was the ultimate reason for sticking DCU down on the CEO?
Yeah, well, my mum wanted me to coach because of the course, but I definitely picked DCU probably because of the athletics and the people that were here and the facilities and everything. Like, going in to DCU, looking at past athletes, it was just outrageous. Like, and people come out of DCU as better athletes as well. They progress further, not just in college. So that's what I loved about DCU as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you're grateful for the support you received from Paul and Sports Wellbeing and everyone. Could you talk a little bit about that support?
Yeah, definitely. Like, so Paul Byrne has been an excellent person in terms of helping me. You know, it's just when you have someone like that you're able to turn to, it is one of the best things, because you're able to keep that motivation there, and you're able to keep training every day when you have someone pushing you on. That's not even your coach, that's just someone there that's saying, look, keep things going, but don't push it, you know. So that's why, you know, Paul is definitely a great person to have in DCU.
This year you're the men's captain. Must have been like delighted to take on that role.
Yeah, no, I was definitely, I done the DCU walk, or the walk for the varsity outdoors, and I remember Paul saying to me, like, you know, I think you'd be a great captain. So when I went for that role, then I got it. When I got the support from everyone else, that was obviously a surreal feeling. So and I'm delighted, because I do like that part of leadership. Like, you know, it is a nice aspect of being part of DCU Athletics. So when you have that, and I don't know, I suppose I just become better as an athlete as well, because I feel like, you know, when you have a role like that, you kind of have to be a good athlete as well. But not necessarily, but you know what I mean. It's it has definitely brought me on further.
What would like your main goals be for 2023?
The plan was to come into cross country really strong this year, and so far, going off last week's result, I was happy out, and I just want to get a really strong cross country season, hopefully like the top 12 in nationals, national senior under 23 and under 23s, and the track is a big one this year, so I might just I'll be pushing down to the 1500 this year, so hopefully we'll see how that goes, and get a bit faster races on my belt, and just keep going, because like this is my first chance that I've been able to be consistent, and I can finally become the athlete that I want to be.
Are you a cross beyond your mind, you know?
Yeah, so I definitely think next year, 2023, that's what I have written on a piece of paper at home there, and the European Cross Country Championships 2023. So that is, I definitely consider that the main goal. So that, and then the following year as well, hopefully, and then we'll look at track as well. But I think cross country at the minute is probably my best one.
How did you get into athletics?
My dad sent me down to the Harriers when I was 7 years old, and I jumped into a track session down in Tullamore Harriers, and I don't know what it was, I was coming last anyways, I remember, and that was that. I came out of a training session, and Dad had a pair of spikes, and like a pair of Nike black and red ones, in the car waiting for me, so I suppose that was definitely the main reason. And then I remember there was always school day, track races and all that, and I would always come last, and everyone was always saying how bad I was at running and everything, and then that kind of drove me on forward as well, and sticking to the Harriers as well was obviously a good thing for me, because I kept at it.
So you wouldn't have had much success initially, like it's taken you a while to get you to where you are today? Yeah,
definitely. Like I won a few off-league cross-country races and all that as a kid, like as under 11, under 12, so my parents definitely saw the talent that could be there, so that was definitely one of the reasons why I kept at the sport as well. But definitely I'd say being consistent has been the only reason I've been able to progress as an athlete. I haven't been that person that's just naturally talented, which is obviously, like, I think a good thing as well, because it just shows that there is people out there that don't need to be naturally talented to do well. It just shows you hard work does pay off.
Okay, we might go into the quick fire then. Favourite track in Ireland?
Favourite track in Ireland? Indoors I'd say AIT, and outdoors I have to go with the Tullamore track at home.
If not athletics, what sport, excluding that?
I'd have to say soccer. I always wanted to play for Liverpool.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Morning training or evening training?
Morning run for easy runs, evening session.
Athletics idol?
It has to be Jakob Ingebrigtsen, definitely.
Favourite DCU athlete?
Mark Smith. He's a good sprinter, but also an excellent photographer and multimedia person.
Lovely.
Appreciate it. I'll give you the 10 rating.
That's great. Cheers, Michael.
Yeah, Simon.